Chechnya, a story by Anthony Mara. After her sister Natasha died, Sonia began sleeping in the hospital. She returned home to wash her clothes a few days a month. But those days become fewer and fewer. No reason to return, no need to wash her clothes, she only wears hospital scrubs anyway. She wakes on a cot in a trauma unit. She sleeps there intentionally in anticipation of the next critical patient. Some days, roused by the shuffle of footsteps, the cries of family members, she stands and the body takes her place on the cot and she works on resuscitation. Knowing she is awake because she couldn't dream nothing like this. "Anne is waiting here to see you," a nurse says. Sonia steals on the cot, rubs the weariness from her eyes. "About what?" The nurse hesitates. "He's right out here." A minute later, in the hallway, the man introduced himself. "My name is Ahmed." He speaks Russian without an accent. But by now, Sonia feels more comfortable conversing in Chechen. Short beard descends from Ahmed's face. For a moment, she thinks he's a religious man, then remembers that the most men have grown their beards out. Few have shaving cream, fewer have mirrors. The war has made the country's cheeks and chins devote. He gestures to a small girl, no older than 8, standing beside him. "My wife and I cannot care for her," Ahmed says. "You must take her." "This isn't an orphanage. There are no orphanage." The request is not uncommon. The hospital receives humanitarian aid, has food and clean water. Most important, it tends to the injured regardless of ethnicity or military affiliation, making the hospital one of the few larger buildings left undergated by either side in the war. Newly injured arrive each day, too many to care for. Sonia shakes her head. Too many dying, she cannot be expected to care for the living as well. Her father was taken by the rebels on Saturday. On Sunday, the army came and took her mother. Sonia looks at the wall calendar, as if a date could make sense of the times. "Today is Monday," she says. "I was a medical student before the war," Ahmed says, switching to Chechen. "In my final year, I will work here until a home is found for the girl." Ahmed glowers. Sonia often sees defiance from rebels and occasionally from soldiers but rarely from civilians. "Can't," she says. But her voice falters, her justification failing. Sonia surveyed the corridor. A handful of patients, no doctors. Those with money with advanced degrees and the foresight to flee countries have done so. Parents decide which of their children they can afford to feed on which days. "No one will take this girl," Sonia says. "Then I will keep working." "Does she speak?" Sonia looks to the girl. "What's your name?" "Haba," Ahmed answers. 6 months earlier, Sonia's sister Natasha was repatriated from Italy. When Sonia heard the knock and opened the door, she couldn't believe how healthy her sister looked. She hugged her sister, joked about the padding on her hips. Whatever horrors Natasha had experienced in the West, she put pat around her waist. "I am home," Natasha said, holding the hug longer than Sonia thought necessary. They ate dinner before the sun went down. Potatoes boiled over the furnace. The army had cut the electric lines 4 years earlier. They had never been repaired. Sonia showed her sister to the spare room by candlelight, gestured to the bed. "This is the place you sleep, Natasha." They spent the week in a state of heightened civility. No fraying questions. All talks was small. What Sonia noticed, she did not comment on a bottle of Rivotril, antiviral pills on the bathroom sink, cigarette burns on Natasha's shoulders. Sonia worked on surgeries and Natasha's work on sleeping. Sonia brought food home from the hospital and Natasha ate it. Sonia starting the fire in the morning and Natasha slept. There were mornings and there were nights. This is life, Sonia thought. Ahmed is true to his word. 5 minutes after Sonia accepts the girl, he is washed and suited in scrubs. Sonia takes him on a tour of the hospital. All but 2 wings are closed for lack of staffs. She shows him the cardiology, internal medicine, and endocrinology wards. A layer of dust covers the floors, their footprints leaving a trail. Sonia thinks of the moon landing, how she saw the footage of the first time when she arrived in the London. "Where's everything?" Ahmed asks. "Beds, sheets, hypodermics, disposable gowns, surgical tape, film dressing, thermometers, IV bags, forceps, any item of practical medical use is gone. Empty cabinets, open drawers, locked rooms, closed blinds, tape over window panes, the stale air remain." The trauma and maternity wards, and we're struggling to keep them both open. Ahmed ran his fingers through his beard. "Trauma, that obvious. You have to keep trauma open. But maternity?" Sonia laugh rings down the empty hall. "I know it's funny, isn't it? Everyone is either giving birth or dying." "No." Ahmed shakes his head. And Sonia wonders if he's open-minded by her. They are coming into the world and they are leaving the world, and it's happening here. Sonia nods, wonders if Ahmed is religious after all.